Welcome back to The Explainer. Okay, let's dive right into the incredibly intense split party chaos that is session 6. If you've been following along, you already know that the battle at the Guard left our adventuring party completely fractured, literally and emotionally. So today we're going to break down exactly how these separated groups navigate the messy aftermath, face down some terrifying new threats, and unknowingly march themselves right toward a single, highly volatile destination. It's a masterclass in split party storytelling, so let's get right into it. You know, the rock gnome Shayla really hits the nail on the head when she says, "We all are marching to the beat of our own tragedy after all." She says this to Boris in Gnomengard, recognizing the heavy grief he's carrying after accidentally killing the gnome healer Zook. And honestly, it perfectly sets the emotional stage for everything that follows. It's just a stark reminder that every single character here is lugging around their own tragic baggage, and that baggage is absolutely dictating their next moves.
So where does that leave everyone? Well, racked with guilt, Boris decides to stay behind in Namengard. He's determined to use his clerical skills to heal the wounded gnomes and basically make reparations for his deadly mistake. Meanwhile, the rest of the party is already on the move. Reader is completely comatose after his brutal internal struggle with Zarathos. To keep him alive, Vitrovia makes the incredibly risky call to place him inside the pure moon energy of her pocket dimension, while she and Whiffer hit the road.
Section 1. Boris seeks the truth. Let's follow Boris first as he grapples with all this guilt. Over the course of a few days, he works tirelessly to heal the wounded gnomes, and it actually pays off, earning him back a little bit of trust. Before he finally leaves, Shayla hands him Redder's greatsword and suggests that if he's a cleric seeking enlightenment, he really ought to travel to the Shrine of Truth. Taking her advice, Boris gears up, he stops in Phandalin, grabs the party's magical sending stone so he can actually communicate with the others, trades some energy powder for a horse, and sets out onto the unforgiving Tribor Trail. Section 2. The Talos Temptation. Now, the Tribor Trail is rarely a quiet stroll, and since Boris recently shifted his divine allegiance away from the chaotic god Talos, he's basically walking around with a massive target on his back. The escalation here is insane. Out of nowhere, he gets ambushed by this massive, aggressive boar. During the desperate fight, Bajak Leja, a pirate who tragically gave up his own memories for power from Calypso, just happens to be traveling by and jumps in to help. But just as the battle reaches its peak, the sky darkens. The terrifying blue dragon, Solat, and the mysterious old man suddenly drop in, bringing the whole skirmish to a dead stop. And here is where the rug completely gets pulled out from under us. That boar? Not just a random wild beast. It actually reveals itself to be Gorthok, a shape-shifting orc and a blood anchorite of Talos. She casually tells the old man that she wasn't trying to blindly kill Boris at all. She was just testing the mettle of a fellow worshiper of Talos. It was literally a brutal, primal test of faith. This brings us to the ultimate test of allegiance. The old man, who is the literal physical manifestation of the destructive god Talos, makes Boris an incredibly tempting offer: become a blood anchorite and gain immortality. But Boris, showing just a tremendous amount of character growth, looks the god in the eye and bravely turns him down. By rejecting this dark salvation, Boris instantly and permanently marks himself as an enemy of Talos. He's officially against the storm now. Section 3. Exploring the Volcano Lab. All right, let's jump over to the other side of our story. While Boris is out there facing down gods on the trail, Whiffer and Vitrovia have tracked down a secretive location based on clues from the Brightblade gear, a highly dangerous volcano lab hidden near a logger's camp. And the environment here is super hostile. Right off the bat, they find themselves fending off vicious subterranean ankhegs that are drawn to the volcano's heat. After surviving that onslaught, they dig into the abandoned lab, looking for traces of Brightblade Iron-X research, specifically anything tied to Whiffer's missing parents. And bingo, their search pays off. They uncover a torn, weathered journal belonging to none other than Whiffer's father, Rickard Ironton. Section 4. Rickard Ironton's Journal. The contents of this journal serve as a massive lore drop. It completely reframes what Whiffer's parents were actually doing out there. They weren't just simple weapons manufacturers. They were tangled in a massive cosmic web. The journal details a chilling prophecy, a grave fortune, the void weapon, sacrifices surpassing what they thought capable. Rickard and his wife were apparently told it was their destiny to forge this void weapon to save the entire Sword Coast from destruction. But that ominous hint about unimaginable sacrifices, that's a dark, heavy realization for Whiffer to process about his family's legacy. So, who exactly laid this incredibly heavy, burdensome prophecy on them in the first place? According to the journal, it was a mysterious soothsayer named Savras. That's the entity that set Whiffer's parents down this tragic, desperate path of arcane research. Section 5. Convergence at the Shrine. This right here is where the narrative masterfully pulls our fractured party back toward a singular, highly dangerous focal point. But before we go any further, we need to clarify who or what Savras actually is. Savras isn't just some local fortune teller in a tent. He is the actual deity overseeing wizards, divination, fate, and above all else, truth. He is a massive cosmic force of knowledge. Look at how these separate threads are perfectly aligning now. Remember how the gnome Shayla pointed Boris toward the Shrine of Truth for his clerical enlightenment? Well, at the exact same time, Whiffer, fresh off reading his dad's journal, decides he needs to track down the location of this soothsayer, Savras, to get some real answers about the Void Weapon. Yep, you guessed it, the Shrine of Savras and the Shrine of Truth are the exact same place. Without even realizing it, our split party is unknowingly converging on the very same doorstep. It's just a brilliant piece of structural plotting to bring the team back together organically through entirely separate motivations. But here's the dramatic irony of the whole situation, something we know from the source material that our heroes are completely blind to. The shrine is a deadly trap. It has been completely overtaken by the forces of Talos. That welcoming shrine keeper? Totally a secret cultist. The real Grand Priest? Currently being held hostage. Oh, and hiding just out of sight in the courtyards are roughly 20 heavily armed orcs and ogres, just waiting in ambush. It's a powder keg waiting for a spark. Which leaves us with this final, thrilling question to ponder. As both halves of our heroic group march blindly through the storm toward what they believe is a sanctuary of truth and answers, will they uncover the deception before the jaws of this trap snap shut? The stakes have literally never been higher, and the very reunion of our party might just be the exact thing that gets them all killed. What do you think is going to happen when they reach the doors? Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep your eyes on the details, and I'll catch you next time as we continue to unpack this incredible journey.